Hi YouTube, this is Andy from All Things Mini, and basically I am in the middle, yes, good boy Scamp, now be quiet. I'm in the middle of waiting for this one to dry. This is of course the masking fluid sort of tutorial thing, and when I started to do the top part of the sort of the scrolling motif on this sail, I found that I've encountered another problem, which I almost forgot to say, so I'm going to do this as a bit of an airbrush problems and how to try and deal with it. Now, sometimes with your airbrush, and it gets into focus, there we go. Sometimes with your airbrush, you can have a problem where the needle sits a little too far back to plug the small hole that's at the front. He says trying to get into focus. Now, as you can see, I mean that's just a little bit of residue white that's from the spraying of that. But sometimes that little needle doesn't fit in there properly. So when you allow air to pass through down into your head joint area, it will spray even though you're not pulling back on your trigger. Now I will try and show you. I will use my sepia ink. I had this problem with me last night, but I've completely forgot about it, so I'm going to have to try and do something about it. So all I'm going to do is maybe, get something quite liquidy. It does really, this really does come up when you've had something relatively liquid based. And what I'm going to try and do is show you the effect on there because it's very light. So right, let's just mix this lot up. That's just like the residue water from the from trying to clean that. Right, stick on a little bit of music, but what I want you to do, again, well actually, yeah, I might have to stick on a bit of music anyway. What I want you to see is that I'm going to try and put this all into focus. If I put my hand there, it might help. And all I'm going to do is push down on that, and you might just see that something appears there. No, my luck, it won't work, but let's see what we can do. Now, that is one major pain in the backside. It's really bad because normally what you are doing with one of these is you are doing some good level of grading, or you're doing some detail work and the like, and as you saw there, I mean, I had to just get the flow instigated through there by blasting it twice, and you will get a very important aspect to this, because it's not just from that not having enough there. And when you instigate liquid flow through your needle point here, what you will have is residue, liquid and paint inside here. Now there's an issue there because it will sit there, so then when you turn on your airflow, it will naturally push something through. Now by rights, nothing should escape that hole until that needle is back. Now if you're in the middle of a very important job, there's one way to deal with it. First thing is basically to release your needle from its locking or its chuck nut. So basically you pull that one back, and then maybe just give it a little bit of a pull back and push forward. Don't push too hard on these things because they don't like it, and they, as I said, they are precision engineered. And just do it back up, and hopefully you will be able to get away with that. Otherwise, if that is the case, what you will need to do is disassemble the whole airbrush, and give it a bit of a clean, and give it a clean inside there, because you never know, it might be the case that a little bit of paint has got in the way. So what we'll do is we'll try that again and see if that works, if that's helped. Now let's get something nice and liquidy. Another, you know, my ink yet again. This is now when it proves me very wrong. Right, so I've got my ink in there. Hopefully it will be okay. So there you go. If you're in the middle of something and you need just to, you know, you don't have the time, you're doing a commission piece, or you're basically, you know, you're just in your zone, in your own zone, and so on and so forth, then basically, just as I said, just, you know, release your nut, give it maybe a tiny pull back like that, not too much, as he says, as he's trying to pull back now and his hands are wet, so he's not getting a grip. There we go, and then push it forward and then basically lock it back up and what else have you. If you're not in a rush, the best thing to do is to basically take your whole thing apart, because as you can see there next to my very bad stained glove, the needle's getting caked in paint, and therefore you don't want that in the way. Right, so hopefully that's worked, and that helps some of you if you find that you actually do have flow happening when you don't really want it to happen. Then there you go. Right, so that's Andy, and I'm now done with that little tutorial. I will now get back on to this one as soon as I clean this.